So today what I'd like to do is to share a bit of my story, but it's not so much about me, it's about helping you to be able to tell your story. And really the starting point is the why. You know, why, Wayne, do I need to tell my story? What's the point? And I think if you can't establish that, then there's no point really exploring your story. But I hear far too often people talking about my workplace is disconnected. I'm not quite connecting with my people. I don't know what it is. I try really hard, I talk to them hard, I work hard, but I'm not getting that connection. Great expression by a guy named Simon Sinek. And Simon says, people don't buy what you do. People buy why you do it. Finding that reason why. But you know what? You lead today the cumulative experiences of where you've come from. Now I thought, you know, I'm the one standing up here. I've got to have a chance to show off a little bit, don't I? Now I won a quid for that photo there. All right, that's pretty good, isn't it? A quid. Now half of you lot don't even know what a quid is, do you? Les, you know what a quid is, don't you, mate? It's a pound. £1 I won for that. Fantastic. And yeah, this is part of my story too, my brothers. I've got Greg here today, which is fantastic. But there seems to be a bit of a theme running through my life, and it's something to do with the sea and the Navy. And Mum even put me in a Navy outfit at about, I don't know how old I'm there, Mum, about 5 or 6. And then I went on to work at Outward Bound, which has its base in the Navy. So your experiences lead to who you are and how you lead today. So that's sort of the why of telling your story. So what I'd like to do now is to go through the how. How do you put your story together? Now we'll give you a bit of a heads up. Now, I know some of you like to take notes and all that sort of stuff. What I've done is I've put together already a template based on what we're doing here today. So when you download the template, you'll see this. The starting point is turning points. We've all had turning points in our life. And one of the exercises I sometimes like to do with organisations is before we do anything, I say, guys, grab a sheet of paper, just do 5 circles on it. What are 5 turning points in your life? What are the 5 things that changed for you and changed your outlook, changed your values, changed the way you looked at relationships? You know, most people, they don't necessarily talk about, oh, well, it's when I went from that job to that job and when I lost that job or whatever. They'll talk about births. They'll talk about marriages. They'll talk about divorce. They'll talk about a death of a mate. They'll talk about emotional stuff, things of the heart. So that's a great starting point. So what was that event and how did it change you? So I'm going to share one with you. It's a turning point that happened for me. As Stuart mentioned, I was a teacher. I taught physics, maths, phys ed. And I always remember this one story, teaching physics. And, you know, I had all the kids sitting there. I was about first year out teacher. You know, I always want to do the best job. And then one of the girls at the back of the class starts screaming. And I'm going, what's the problem? I said, okay, my fly's done up. Yeah, fly's done up, there's not a problem there. And what had happened, a mouse had escaped from mice and men next door, which was the year 7s. So we've got this mouse running around the classroom. So bang, for something just happened in me, this switch happened. And I said, right, you 3 guys, catch the mouse. Righto, Les and your mates, go upturn the tables. I want the tabletops face to face with a passage about that wide. All right, from the back of the classroom to the front of the classroom. Right, Stuart and your mates, go grab some stopwatches. You lot over there, I'd like you, go up and put a graphs up on the board, distance versus time, velocity versus time, acceleration versus time. I had kids going everywhere, tables going everywhere. I'd be put in jail if I did it these days. And we caught the mouse. We had this passage going up the middle of the classroom. I had guys at the 1 metre mark, 2 metre mark, 3 metre mark. We had it all measured out with tape measures. We had stopwatches at each point. Someone was hanging onto the mouse by the tail. I said, when we say go, let the mouse go. So I let go of the mouse, and this mouse just goes, shoot straight up the classroom. Stopwatches going, data going up on the board, you know, distance versus time. We worked out the velocity of the mouse, we worked out the acceleration of the mouse. 3 weeks ago, I was up in Yarrawonga. And I spoke to one of the students. who was in that class. What's the first thing he says? I remember that session on kinematics, Wayne. It blew me away. Now, I know I don't look a day over 40, but that was 30 years ago. And that guy remembered vividly the experience. So that was a turning point for me. Because up until that stage, I was a teacher, standing up the front of a bunch of kids, and, you know, my Year 8 maths class, that was the highlight. Boys, sit down, shut up, open to chapter 15, indices. That's about it, I got that look. And they're looking at me saying, Wayne, what's this got to do with getting chicks, making money? So that was a turning point for me, and ultimately I was probably going to get kicked out of teaching because I got up to all sorts of mischief, bringing motorbike engines into maths classes and stuff like that, and I ended up going off to a mob called Outward Bound. Outward Bound is an outdoor organisation that takes people out of the scrub for anything up to 25 days, 26 days, and it's about getting on with other people. It's about drawing on your inner stuff. And to be honest, I don't think there's enough of that. I think, you know, we make life, particularly for our kids, too easy, too soft. And then when the tough times come, we get too short to spend time doing anything except what you're passionate about. And, you know, maybe you've got the right people. Maybe you actually got the right job for them. But have you brought them to life? And I think that's what our job is, not just as a leader, but as a teammate. What I love about the likes of Roger Dunn, where are you, Roger? Roger, there he is. What I love about this guy and his team. These guys, they fill in potholes, they keep the parks beautiful for you, and they're here. What's that say about that mob at that table? Glen Ira Council guys. Works Depot team, they're here. They've got a story to tell. All you guys have got a story to tell. This is not about the people that got the title of manager. This is about us as human beings and connecting with people. So, the third part of my template is looking at, you know, in putting your story together, what are the characters? What are the mentors? What are the associates? Who are the people that you've hung around that have got you to where you've got to? And I suppose I've chosen to hang around winners. A few of my cycling mates here. Where are you? Paul Charles, where's Paul? Where are you, Paul? And Rick, up the back there. I love doing time with these guys. Every Saturday morning we have a coffee. You know, we've got guys that are absolute left wing politically, we've got guys that are absolute right wing, and it's on for young and old. But that's what I love about hanging around winners, because they say it how it is. They're not afraid to put their opinion on the table, but they're open-minded enough to at least hear other people out. Okay? I've got my good mates, the Icebergers. Where are they? Paul, Steve. These guys here, they had to write a note to Kevin to say, I'm not going to be at swimming at 6:30 this morning. Is that okay? Is that right? Uncle Kev? Yeah? But, you know, I hang around these guys. I'm a half burger, which means I'm there a couple of times a week, but not every morning like these jokers over here. But it's fantastic. There's guys there in their 70s every day. And you know what the temperature of the water is in winter? 9 degrees. And they're out there. 60s, 70s, we've got a lot of them, we guys, and us 40s. But you know, I like hanging around winners. The other thing is, you've got to believe you've got something to share. Now, I don't know what your philosophy in life is, but I reckon we're here for a reason. Now, you might disagree with that, but I strongly believe we're here for a reason. We're here for a purpose. Some of you may not know what that purpose is, but I believe that we've all got something to contribute. We're all here for a reason. You just got to find out what that reason is. And, you know, it does make a big difference, I think, to the people that you hang around with if they know what you're passionate about. Because people don't care what you do, they want to know why you do it. What's your driver? What's your passion? So what you do for others lives forever. And I think that really should be part of our story, shouldn't it? Don't we all want to leave a legacy? So last couple of things here. I think the other big part of our journey is that we do want to leave a legacy. And that's my gang, and I love them to bits. And I want them to have a legacy that I leave with them as a family. And it is part of my story. They're part of my story. I learned so much from them. The last part of my story is, what are the chapters that you're going to write from here on? What's the story that you're going to write for the future? Because I believe a big part of your story is your goals, your dreams, where you want to head. Thanks very much, ladies and gentlemen, for listening. Thanks very much, ladies and gentlemen, for listening.